Ladies and gentlemen that are going to watch here, welcome. In the finals for the European team.
Okay, good evening everyone. This is your friendly co-host for the afternoon, Michael Welk from Denmark. And on my left side is Brian Peterson from Sweden. And we will be your commentators for this afternoon for the team events.
Yes, the mixed team events.
Yeah, the team mixed events.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. And we'll be starting with longbow mixed team.
Yes, that's going to be quite interesting. This is actually the first time we're having a mixed team event officially at any large World Archery Championship.
Yeah, it's quite new.
No, it was tested in France, I believe, unofficially.
Okay.
Just to see how it went, so to speak. But now it's first time officially, so that's quite exciting news.
Yeah, it is. And we'll be starting with the bronze match between Spain and France.
Yeah.
They're actually quite big countries when it comes to traditional shooters, longbow.
They are indeed big countries in terms of Denmark won over Austria.
Yeah.
And for the Italian team, we have Michela Donati shooting, and we have Fabio Pittaluga shooting. Fabio is one of the most experienced, if not the most experienced, totally instinctive archer in Europe. He has several international championship medals in his bag. Extremely calm archer, extremely stable. And on the Austrian side, we had Klaus Grünsteidl, who is. I could add that Fabio is currently ranked second in the instinctive class from the qualification days.
Yes.
And from Austria, we have Klaus Grünsteidl, who is ranked third. And we have Karin Novi, who is ranked second in the instinctive woman. So extremely strong teams. I think we can expect some awesome shooting here.
Yeah, I think Karin Novi was also a medal winner at the last European Championships in Sweden. As far as
yes, I think you're right.
Ladies and gentlemen,
like I said,
now going for
we're going to see some very, very good shooting. These are all strong contenders. Italy will be shooting target 1, which is the left target. Austria will be shooting target 2.
With on target number 1, the team of Italy, Michela Donati and Fabio Pittaluga. And on target number 2, the team of Austria, Karin Novi and Klaus Grünsteidl. And the judge in the match is Slobodan Matic. And on target number 1, Italy is starting to shoot.
Klaus Grünsteidl actually during the qualification days did the highest overall score on day 2 with staggering 468 points, 48 arrows.
Yeah,
Completely amazing.
Actually, I think it was 488.
468.
Yeah, it was
And
68.
Fabio was not far behind. He was 460. So some absolutely amazing and almost crazy scores were done there.
Yeah, my goodness, I would be very satisfied if I could get that high.
I think many barebow archers would be very happy to get that high, yes. I can honestly say I've never, ever seen scores that high in instinctive class.
No.
We will now have Fabio Pittaluga from Italy shooting first.
Yeah.
Looking at the target, getting distance and knocking an arrow.
And here we can see the big difference between the longbow and the instinctive class. That instinctive class is a wooden handle, but with, well, mostly carbon limbs.
That's right, and it's a 10.
Yeah.
Like a very strong archer. That's right. The handle section on the instinctive class bows have to be made from a natural material that can be more than just wood, but it has to contain some part of wood.
Yeah. And they're not shooting wooden
That was
arrows.
unfortunately a miss, I believe.
Oh, right.
Sad.
Yeah. But they're shooting carbon arrows and not wooden
As opposed to longbow class, we are shooting carbon arrows. We can shoot any arrows we want. We can also use plastic vanes instead of natural turkey feathers.
Okay.
And the construction can be 3-part takedown if wanted.
Yeah.
Klaus Grünsteidl now shooting for Austria, and it's an 11. Awesome
11.
shot. Awesome shot.
We
Karin
have
Novi,
Karin Novi, yeah, very experienced.
very experienced archer. I believe actually the reigning world champion. And it's a 5.
Yeah.
That puts Austria in the lead 16 to 10.
Austria, 10 Italy. If it's confirmed, then Italy starts on target number 2 to shoot first.
What is similar between the longbow class and the instinctive class is that you cannot have any sights on the bow. You also cannot use the technique that we call string climbing, which is where you place your draw fingers a bit below the arrow. You have to hold your index fingers right below the arrow, or you shoot split finger where you have the arrow in between your index finger and your next finger.
Yeah, there are very special rules about how.
There are very specific rules about that. You need to have one anchor point, which is the place on your face where your right hand, for a right-handed archer, comes back to hold. Has to be one constant place for both longbow and instinctive.
Yeah.
And you cannot string climb. You
No.
cannot.
No.
We'll get more into that technique when we get to the
Yes.
barebow class.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
like we talked about before, the instinctive class is the second least advanced, the second most primitive class we can
Yes.
play.
Yes.
Longbow is the most primitive. You allow a few more things when it comes to instinctive, and then you add more stuff in barebow that we will get to
Yes.
later.
You can see if we look at the bow limbs that there's quite a big difference between the bow limbs in regards to how much recurve there is on the bow limbs.
That's right. Fabio is shooting a border bow with their, I believe, their CB9 limbs, extreme recurve.
Yes, my God, it's
That's supposed to give some advantages in terms of speed and also smoothness of draw.
yes, as
We'll
far
see.
as
We'll see Fabio shoot here. Look at his style; it's absolutely so elegant. And it's a 10. It's
Wow.
a very good shot on the ibex.
yes, and because of his bow being made, bow limbs being made like that, it's
Nicola
almost
Donati shooting now. It's an 8, strong.
it's almost like doing a compound shoot because you have a sort of a. It feels like a let off.
Yeah, some people say it's a let off. I don't really agree that it's a let off, but it rarely increases in strength the further you go back.
Yes.
You can see the limb tips on Klaus's bow here. It's a bit more traditional.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
probably
that's
shooting Uka limbs and it's an 11. My God, that is strong shooting. I
So
don't know what range they are at there, but I would say they're probably at 25 or something like that.
Yeah. So Karin Novi.
Karin Novi approaching and drawing back. Very fast shooting, and it's a
Wow.
10 or 11.
My goodness, it's good shooting.
That is awesome shooting.
That's almost a full draw, but only 1 point less. 21 points. Austria.
They're doing very well this afternoon, Austria. They're very good.
Extremely well.
And 37 for Austria.
You will also probably notice a difference in anchor point, like we talked about before, between longbow and instinctive class. That instinctive, typically, modern instinctive class archers will typically anchor much higher on their face and have the arrow much closer to their eye, which gives them an advantage. It's a lot easier to aim,
Yeah.
and therefore you will see more longbow archers shooting what we call instinctively, like looking at the target and just shooting with your gut feeling.
Yeah.
And you will see more instinctive class archers although the name is called instinctive, you'll see more instinctive class archers actually gap shooting, which is aiming just a little bit below, using the tip of the arrow to aim with.
Yes. And we'll see the big difference between that way of doing things and when we get to the bare bow, where you have the string walking and you change the angle of the bow in regards to where you are at the distance of the animal.
Yes, yes.
It
Absolutely.
probably looks a bit strange for people that are not used to seeing archery, but it's...
No, I think the difference will be apparent when we get to barebow. We'll try to remember to talk a little bit about that, I think. However, right now, Austria is in the lead 37 towards versus Italy's 28.
Yeah.
So that's a solid lead.
It is. It is.
But like we talked about before, there are 2 targets left, and that's not at all impossible to gain back.
No, but still, we haven't seen Austria at all being... They don't seem like being... They are nervous or anything.
No, they have 37 on 4 arrows now. That's an average well above 9.
It is.
So that's really, really awesome shooting.
That in itself
You'll also
is
see
awesome.
now that Italy is shooting first again now. The leading team actually, I believe, decides who shoots first.
Okay.
So they have given it to Italy. There might be a psychological advantage to having the lower ranking team shoot first.
Yeah, of course.
Fabio coming to full draw.
Italy 11.
And 11, awesome shooting. And Michela Donati. And it's a 10.
My God.
Very strong.
They're really doing it well.
Klaus Grünsteidl now using his binos to just check where the score zone is.
Yep.
That's an 11.
That's an 11, yeah.
That is the
So,
shot in a row.
shooting at the cougar.
Yeah, he's shooting absolutely magnificent.
Yeah.
Karin Novi.
10.
And a 10.
21.
That is more than just
Very, very strong
solid.
shooting.
Yeah, it is.
With 1 target to go. And that means there is a difference.
Klaus has an extremely high anchor.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed it, but he's anchoring sort of not below his eye, but to the right of his eye. So he's height-wise, he does not have to aim much below, and he may even have to be able to aim exactly where his arrow
So
he wants his arrow to go.
So he's shooting directly at the target instead
He
of...
may be, depending on the distance.
Sure.
But you cannot have the same point of impact at 10 meters, 20 meters, and 30 meters. That's not possible because the arrow has a trajectory.
Yes.
It's over.
But it's an interesting technique.
It is. I haven't seen it before. He's really high on his anchor.
I've seen a few archers trying to get the anchor all the way up to there, but very few do it well.
Yeah.
I can't get mine up to there. There's no way.
I've been talking to one of the instinctive archers at the Danish team, and he was well, sort of experiencing a little bit with having a high anchor, but well, it was difficult for him because he wanted to have well, not as much. Just lost my tongue there. He wanted to reduce his
gap.
His gap.
Yeah.
Last 2 arrows.
But if you have a very, very fast setup, a fast flying arrow, then it's an advantage to have as high as an anchor as possible.
Okay.
Now we'll see Fabio entering, preparing to shoot the last target here, which is the jackals.
Yeah.
That's quite a pretty distance. I'm guessing 20 meters or something from here.
8.
And it's an 8, very
Solid.
close to the 10 line, but it's probably an 8.
Solid.
But it's a solid shot, very solid shot. Michaela. And 11. Strong finish from
That
Italy.
is very nice
68
shooting.
to 58.
That means that when Klaus is doing what he did the whole series,
So a little bit of pressure put on Austria at the final end,
Two
but
fives and we'll have a shootout.
2-5 and we'll have a shoot-off.
Yeah.
Or 1-10 and a miss, and that's not impossible.
Yeah.
Klaus bracing himself.
10.
And it's a 10.
10 for
That means
Austria.
we have
So-
now a tight score.
So
Karin is now in what we call hit to win.
Yes.
Hit the animal and the victory goes to Austria. And it's a hit.
So
Bronze medal, Austria.
And congratulations,
Congratulations,
Austria,
Austria,
on the bronze medal.
yes. And congratulations to Italy as well, getting to the bronze
Absolutely.
medal
Like I
match.
said before, they are magnificent archers, and I have the biggest respect for
Yes.
both of them.
There are no bad archers down here. It's they're
Absolutely
all
not.
very good.
And I am pretty sure we'll see more of these people in the following days in both
yes.
team and individual events. Fabio is actually directly qualified to semi-final in the instinctive class individually.
Ah, okay.
So he hasn't shot his last arrow in this
And it's
championship.
confirmed.
Look at the style. It's
Yeah, high anchor.
beautiful study of how you shoot.
Good release.
Good release, strong back tension.
She's solid.
Very.